Warning, this podcast may contain questions leading to offensive content and even more offensive language.
You've been warned.
You ready for round 2? Welcome to the Seesaw Podcast with T and Cleaves.
Each week, offering up a delayed perspective on life. So as always, I will be the one to welcome you all to episode whatever this is. I don't know what episode it's going to be. We
don't do numbers anymore.
We really shouldn't, because the last episode we released, we referenced that it may or may not be 20, and it was actually episode 22. So we're no longer numbering them.
We're not about orders. We don't like to conform.
Communism forever.
Well, let's not go overboard. No one wants to be China.
Even China doesn't want to be China. They've been being very un-China lately.
Hey, they're still cool.
They will pay later. So, return of the questions.
Before we do the questions, actually, I would like to read out some of the social media comments. It's that time again.
Of course. Get out your very legitimate comments.
Look, they're not all comments, some of them are questions.
Okay. I'm questioning the authenticity of this.
Right, let me just get the comments up here. They're sent to me directly by email as well. You might not have seen them on the seesawpodcast@gmail.com email address, because these ones came directly to me because they were...
Why wouldn't they?
Well, from what I understand, they were a little bit concerned with yourself and they didn't want to offend you. So they just sent them directly to me, you see.
Yeah.
So the first one is a question from Neves Perez, I'm going to say. That's the name.
Yeah.
I believe. And they say, Dear Seesaw Podcast, I really enjoyed the short stories episode. I like the fact that they are long when they claim to be short. However, when will Tony have an interesting one?
Never.
We're just going to be putting out bland content for the rest of time.
We're not out for any awards here. This is like white noise for you to go to sleep to.
Next one comes from Bill in Devon.
Not Bilton?
No, Bill. Just regular Bill.
Okay.
He says, really enjoyed the podcast. I'm thinking of starting up my own. But what can I do mine about? I too am registered blind, but I feel that there is already so many podcasts out there that mine will not be unique enough. Do you have any ideas?
Well, firstly, we've cornered the market being the bad boys of blind podcasts. So that's already out, Bill, I'm afraid.
Super niche.
I think if you're starting a podcast, you need to find your corner.
Tricky if you're blind.
It is. But legitimate, I know this is a shit question, but legitimate answer to
this. What a shit question, how dare you? You can't just, our loyal listeners, you can't just naysay them like that. You can't, I picked out this question specifically because I thought it was gold, and then you just shit on them. They're trying to start something here, and you just gone, nah mate, your idea is wank.
Okay, let's treat it as if it is a real question then. If you want to get out there, you need a big sexy hook. That's really important. Have a bit of planning. That's also important. Don't be like us. And make sure your sound quality is decent, I'd say.
Like ours wasn't to begin with.
No, but that's the reason why we axed episode 1 and 2. See? I'm debunking your comments here, Cleaves, with legitimate answers.
Well, do you know what? I'll go to the last one
on
the thing here. And it's actually from our old friend, Mr. P. Donger 69. Phil, to you and me.
Yes, I'm aware of Phil.
He says, Dear Seesaw Podcast, we all know that T already snacks on a big bucket of dicks, but what does he have for pudding?
It's pretty much the same one as before, and I'm kind of loving that you're coming to the bit and looking at your phone as if there's anything on there.
There is.
You cut this from the last episode, but when I questioned you, you showed me the phone, and I didn't call you out on the fact that it was just the menu screen of your phone.
How dare you?
I didn't call you out on it because
I was a little slanderous.
Okay, what do I have for pudding? Well, I personally have a big bucket of tinned tomatoes just to piss off Cleaves. The ones he throws in the sea.
That's disgusting. I think I'd rather have the dicks than the tomatoes.
No, I already had those for my dinner.
Yeah, I know, but you can go back for seconds. Or in your case, 20th.
It's not a thing. Even at an all-you-can-eat buffet, no one's going back 20 fucking times.
I don't know. I've seen you gobble cock like a champion. Okay, so let's move on.
I actually have a comment myself.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I do.
Bullshit.
I do.
Instant bullshit. I'm calling it.
No, and this was a legitimate question that I did get over our Facebook.
Fuck off.
No, legitimately, I just haven't had an opportunity to bring it up.
How convenient.
Okay. It's from someone named Gemma, and it was through...
Oh, Gem? Really?
No. Gemma with a J, I think it was.
Oh, as opposed to those ones that begin with an X.
No, I can begin with a G.
Yeah.
You fucking tosspot. So didn't get any of the love the podcast sort of things. It was more about if you are losing your sight, and this was more of a question for you, what can you do to help ease the pain of it? Not physical pain, but when you realise that your sight is going, what can you do? Is there any support out there, or is there any self-preservation or coping mechanisms that you can use? And it's something that they are going through at the moment, and they just want a little bit of advice on what they could potentially do to ease sort of like that transition.
Take up drink and drugs and escape it all.
I mean...
that was not the advice you were expecting,
No, it wasn't. I mean...
Don't do that. That's not the way to go. Try and find some friends and try not to be bothered about it. Embrace it. That's the best advice I could say. Embrace all the crap and the stupid things that you will do by accident, and you just got to move on. Every time you do something that you think, man, if I had the sight, I wouldn't have done that. You just got to kind of laugh it off and just keep going. There's an attitude of just not giving a fuck, really, that you have to start to embrace.
And there is professional help out there.
Oh yeah, the professional help. Yeah. Also go do that.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of therapy around my early 20s, which actually did help quite a lot.
Yeah. And a lot of charities will help as well, just because a charity says that they just provide, like, whether it be a guide dog or just equipment and stuff like that. That can help the transition, but they're also really good at helping with these sort of things.
Talk to your friends and family as well.
Be open about it. You might feel you're on your own, but you're really not.
If that was a legitimate question, thanks for your question.
Yes.
Thanks,
you for your question. And if you do have any questions, if you want to email Cleaves directly, I'm sure he will quite happily drop his personal credentials in slyly, because apparently that's what he's done at some point to get all of his questions.
Yeah. Look, just because you don't listen to the end of the podcasts when I slip in the little Easter eggs every now and again.
I didn't know that happened until my wife pointed it out to me. Okay, so this week it's all about FAQs.
And you know what they say about sequels? They're never as good as the original.
So if you don't know what this episode is going to be, well, firstly, where the hell have you been? What we've done in the past, for anyone who's new, is we will type things into Google, just the initial part of a sentence, and see what Google generates as the frequently asked questions on that segment. We're doing it around blindness and disability, of course, because you can Google things yourself if you give a shit. But we thought we'd answer some of these questions on behalf of Google, just to save them. Yeah, they're poor company. Got to give them all the help they can get. So, shall we start, Cleaves?
Hit me with that first question.
For Google, I've typed in, do blind people? Generated a load of questions here. The first one, do blind people dream?
Yeah, probably.
I dream.
Yeah, what? I guess they mean like totally blind people, don't they?
Yeah.
And to be fair, you're still going to dream, aren't you? It's just that, your dreams will probably be foggy. And I'm not talking foggy. I'm talking like...
Foggy Nelson.
Yeah.
No, I suppose they will, but using the constraints of the senses they already have, I suppose.
Yeah, in dreams and stuff, you still feel things, don't you? You're scared or anxious or happy, sad, whatever.
I think if you're being blind from birth, you're not going to immediately start dreaming in, like, HD vision.
No, but there's still a possibility that you're going to wake up in a pool of your own jizz.
100%.
100%.
Every time.
That's what happens.
It's a big jizzy mess.
Fucking hell.
Like Spider-Man after a battle.
Can you imagine when his Aunt May walks in? What happened? Oh, it's a big battle. There's webs everywhere.
Okay, let's move on. Do blind people see black?
Does anyone see black?
Well, black is the absence of light. So, yes.
Well, I guess they mean, is their vision just black?
So I can answer this within my own sort of constraints. My right eye doesn't work anymore. It has light perception, but that just means it just reacts to light. As far as what I see out of it, I don't see anything. I don't see black. I don't see any other colour. It just twitches around light.
So if you close one eye, right, the working one,
Yeah.
what does the other one see? Like, what
It sees nothing. All I see is black.
So it is black.
No, all I see is black, but the black is from my eyelid on my left eye.
Right. And what about the other one?
Nothing.
Yeah, but you must see something. It's got to be like something, isn't it?
No. Like, it's nothing. Like it just doesn't pick up on anything.
Yeah, so it's like black then, right?
No.
So what is it then? It has to be something. It can't just be nothing.
It is just nothing. Like it doesn't see black. There's nothing there.
So what colour is it there then?
Nothing.
White?
Nothing. Like literally there is no visual signal coming through. It's like if you don't plug your DVD player into your TV, like it's no signal's going through. So no signal is going through my eye.
What a fucking reference.
Yeah, but
It's the early noughties in a DVD player. We've not plugged it into a TV.
You know the worst thing is I was going to say VHS, and that was going to date me even more. Had to get the composite cable a little bit more wiggle.
I still don't get it though. Like there must be something there.
No, there really isn't. Like it's just nothing. Like all I see is through my left eye. That's all I see. Everything that I can visually, my visual range is entirely my left eye.
Oh, okay, that kind of makes more sense.
If I close my left eye, I see black, but that's only because my left eye is seeing black.
Yeah. Right.
My right eye sees nothing. It has no use. It's just sort of sitting flopping about. That's all it does.
Right, okay.
So if you're totally blind, I won't. It depends on your condition. So some people will see black, others won't see anything at all. Like similar to my right eye, some people won't see anything at all. I suppose it just depends on the situation, I guess.
All right, next question.
Do blind people have better hearing?
Kind of.
You see, if you were my dad, you'd say pardon at that point.
Classic joke.
Yeah,
Classic dad joke.
Dad jokes, we got them. I don't think you have better hearing. I think you're just better at using it.
Yeah, you come to rely on it more. It's like when you walk down the street. Like I don't have my headphones in anymore because I rely on my hearing quite a lot to when people are walking near me or to hear cars and things like that because I can't always rely on actually seeing them. But other people wouldn't even need to use it because it'll be just there instantly. You'll be able to see them. It's just practice using something.
That's what it is. I think people who don't have a visual impairment get very dependent on their eyes. And I think in the same way that their hearing isn't as accurate as what someone with a visual impairment is, they're not used to using their other senses in that way. I think another thing as well, I use my nose quite a lot. Especially on the high street if I'm looking for like Greggs.
You do, what I'm just envisioning is, you know those old cartoons with the smell wafts and they just like follow the smell with their nose?
Just floating along the high street.
Exactly like that.
Greggs ain't that good, mate. But that's a good way. If you're looking for a coffee shop, I'll smell the coffee shop before I see it.
Just sniff around.
Well, I know roughly where I am. I can locate it.
What if there's several cafes on the high street and you're looking for a particular one?
Well, firstly, don't be so fucking picky. Secondly, use your other senses, you're fine.
Okay.
And my guide dog used to do some of that work as well.
I didn't know whether you could, whether you'd attuned your nose so much that you could sniff out a Starbucks versus a Costa, for example. If I gave you two miscellaneous cups, whether you'd know which one was which.
I'm a bad case to use coffee as an example, to be honest, because coffee gives me a headache. Like the smell of coffee gives me a massive headache, and I hate it.
What's wrong with you? The problem isn't your sight. Something else went wrong when you were born, it seems. I mean, with bacon and coffee and God knows what else. You opted for a bucket of tomatoes over a bucket of dicks earlier.
Yeah.
Like, you programmed wrong, you are.
Maybe so. Well, we'll move on to the next question because it's quite relevant. Do blind people cry?
Yes, they do, but only when no one's watching.
Yeah. So yes, blind people do cry.
Why is that even a question?
I don't know, maybe it's to do with the eyes. There's loads of different parts of the eyes.
Oh yeah, okay.
But tear ducts are nothing to do with the actual visual part of your eyes.
Yeah, true. You might have something wrong with your tear glands.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes your eyes just leak for no fucking reason. That happens with me, nystagmus. Because of nystagmus, I get conjunctivitis quite a lot. You get one minute thing of dust in your eye and they just wiggle and it rubs the fuck out of them, so I get conjunctivitis all the time. And then my eyes sometimes just be streaming all day.
You say that, but probably pink eye.
Whatever, Cleaves. You don't know me.
I don't know what you do with you.
I cry at night after your sick burns that you give me.
I can give you some cream for that if you like.
Liberally putting pseudocreme on. Soothe it. Okay, last one with this initial search, because all the other questions are just too similar or we've answered them before. Do blind people get dizzy?
I don't know. His first couple of albums were alright.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Two went on holiday.
And then he just went plain bonkers after that.
Yeah.
Dad jokes, got him in spades.
Yep. I have heard that he is a member of the VIP community as well. I think he's got a star glass or something.
What's that?
It's an eye condition.
doing a visually impaired podcast and I'm just straight up like, what the fuck is that?
You don't have to know.
Doesn't seem legit. Just instantly casting it off like, does your rascal? He can't have anything wrong with him apparently.
No, I think he plays it off well. I don't know how much weight there is to that rumour.
Okay. He may or may not have something.
Yes.
It's good to know that we're on the pulse and totally not vague about anything.
Nope. Maybe that should be our next One Division.
Is there anything wrong with Diz?
I mean, his career's in the toilet. Let's put it that way.
Whoa! You can't say that about Dizzy.
He can come on this pod and defend himself.
I don't know if we can have him on here.
Why? We'll do Blue.
No, he's a bit of a rascal, isn't he? We don't know what he's...
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what he's going to get up to.
Yeah. Unplugging the microphones halfway. Oh, you rascal. Fuck's sake.
What was the original question?
Do blind people get dizzy?
Oh, right, yeah.
The fucking straws all over again. Just
Okay,
a tangent.
yeah.
We go back to straws.
Okay, yeah. Do they get dizzy? Oh, yeah, I assume so. Watch them spin around.
Dizziness is your inner ear, not your eyes. So, yeah, that was the last one on that one. But we will try another.
I don't know, someone might pick you up on that quote of Dizzy might have something, maybe.
Please do. You can email Cleaves' direct email address.
Yeah.
Send all your questions to him. This next question. So I have typed in, and these are all legitimate questions. I know Google does update, but if you want to find out the legitimacy of these, just type in what I have onto Google and you'll find them. So the one I've done is, how do blind people? The top question for this one. Cleaves, how do blind people know when to stop wiping?
When it starts to hurt. Not being funny, right? But you kind of know when you're done without having to look at the tissue, don't you?
Yeah.
So I guess you just know by feel. I mean, you like to have a bit of a check, don't you, to make sure it's all gone. If you've got that sight, use it. You know, you don't want a few brown flecks down there. But I'm just saying, if not, you're probably good. You probably know.
This is the top question.
People want to know whether blind people are a pooey, smelly mess. Let's be fair.
It's true.
I mean, if a blind person is a pooey, smelly mess, it has nothing to do with their blindness. It has more to do with the fact that they have poor hygiene.
Blind person poops in the woods.
In the woods?
In the woods doesn't make a sound. That same guy who says books is in the books.
Books. Yeah.
In the woods. Yeah, don't be a messy bastard. And when it's no longer seeping through the toilet paper, you're probably done.
You've used the word seeping.
It's
And through as well. Like, I mean, I don't want to know what goes on down there for you, but...
Seeping should be under the forbidden words list with moist.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just some words that should never be said.
If I'm honest, in context as well, I don't really like the word crust.
So a crusty moist pie seeping with gravy.
Oh, yeah, I mean... God.
In this context, that sounds horrible. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Before we see if blind people can cry.
Eat this pie.
Okay. How do blind people read? Okay, let's not include audiobooks there because we've done an audiobook.
Okay, that was going to be my first thing with audiobooks. With a magnifier. There's legit answers to these. There's legitimate answers to these questions. Enlarged text, magnifiers. Sometimes they just have good enough sight to read.
There's also Braille.
What are you like? You seem to champion Braille a little bit, and I'm full on the get in the sea Braille. Go visit your old friend Tomatoes.
Tomatoes and Braille. Conclusions enemies list.
Yeah. That's my personal hell. Being taught Braille with the only food I can snack on is tomatoes. Both are redundant.
What context would this happen?
I don't know. Let's say there's a hell, for example. That's probably mine. And then after I've finished, I have to walk through a busy shopping centre with no cane.
You're not allowed to do that last check after you wipe.
You'll
never be sure.
I don't know. That'd be the worst. I don't know if I could handle that.
Yeah, so you can use Braille. I don't know why anyone would, but audiobooks for the win and magnifiers. We're not an
Do Braille novels exist anymore?
They do. You can crack walnuts with them. Like they are heavy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I
had a Braille version of Macbeth ordered for me at school for my GCSEs. Never read it.
What I don't get is, right, with a book, all the pages are folded together.
Yep.
And Braille's all like bumps and shit.
Yep.
When the pages are all folded together in the cover of the book, do the like bumps not smooth out a little bit?
Yeah. They do. You can still sort of feel them out, but then you have the issue of you can't really do double-sided like on the other side of the page because it affects the other side.
Yeah, obviously.
So it's all single page, like single-sided pages. So first you've doubled the pages then. And even though Braille does have abbreviations to try and cut down on the bullshit, you're still working to a cell system. So there's only a certain amount of spaces that you can go across, which again is like writing, but you can, at least with text formats, you can bunch it up a little bit, you can left justify it, and you can do a little bit of formatting. With Braille, you can't really do that. If you have a word that has no abbreviations in it, you have to make a new line every single time. And it just stretches stuff out so much to the point where a book that would normally be 300 double-sided pages, and that's 300 in total, not 300 pages that are double-sided, a 300 page. In Braille, that'd be like 600, 700 maybe?
It's a lot of pages.
Yeah, it's a lot of pages, and Braille takes a long time to read. You can become a quick Braille reader, but then you've got the problem with the dots being smashed down a little bit.
And the problem that it's Shakespeare as well, so it's not even in a language that's English.
Exactly. Fuck Braille Shakespeare. That's what the B standing for. Braille or bastard. Pick one, Bill. Next one's sort of in line. I mean, there's one in between, but it's stupid. It says, how do blind people see? Kind of a random question.
With difficulty.
Yeah. Next one is, how do blind people write? So let's get Braille off the table for this one. I don't think, apart from signing my name, I don't think I've used a pen for years.
I jot notes sometimes at work, but it's very rare that I write. Don't need to, do you, in this day and age? And fair, if I'm honest, I shouldn't really be jotting notes. I should just be typing them on Notepad or something.
That's it. Type them up.
Saving the trees.
Voice notes as well. I use voice notes all the time. Use technology. Come on.
Yeah, be cool, blind people.
Yeah. How do blind people use phones?
Do they still have that talks thing on phones? Is that a thing?
Phones are ridiculously accessible now. Like, so accessible. You have talkback and narrator and all sorts of things. Phones are fully accessible. So, how do blind people cook?
We've done a whole episode on it.
Yep, refer to breakfast at Tiffany's.
Using gloves.
Yes.
That's how they cook.
Exactly. Just flip that egg. Give it a pinch and flip.
Yep.
Then we have, how do blind people use the internet? Well, the same way they use anything else.
No, blind people have to use dial-up.
Good. Good. They should be wasting those benefits on broadband.
Dial-up doesn't even exist anymore, does it?
I hope it does, just to annoy some prick. Dial-up in prisons only. That's another thing to go in hell. Dial-up. And the last one in this list, how do blind people communicate? Hello, Cleaves. Like that.
I don't understand.
He didn't answer.
I don't understand.
I see you're doing a bit.
Yep.
I knew you were going to fucking block me, you juvenile child.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
You fucking juvenile child. Sometimes I'm just going to replace your ass.
You won't get a better co-host than me.
I don't know about that. I have people waiting in the wings.
Name one.
I'm
not able to make up names on the spot, is it?
I'm not. How would you know?
Well, just a feeling.
Oh, really? Really, really? Okay, let's do one more question, shall we?
Sure.
We're going to do a disabled-based question. Not that being blind isn't being disabled. Why are disabled? That's all I've put in. And the first one we have here is, why are disabled people more vulnerable?
Because they're not able-bodied?
I mean, yeah, to a degree, but that's also a generalisation. Never assume that a disabled person is vulnerable. A long cane can do a lot of damage.
It's true. You never quite know when someone's going to be sat in a wheelchair and the next thing they know, they've just knifed you in the penis.
Wheelchair people, they've got a lot of space to store knives.
Notorious for knifing people in the penis.
Yep. Cut that dick. How did you go get the bucket of dicks?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some Paralympians out there, like for taekwondo, judo, and all sorts of stuff. I wouldn't fuck with them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they were knob cutters.
They could also do that. It depends.
We should probably say that in no way are we actually saying that people in wheelchairs or the disabled community are notorious for actually cutting off people's penises.
I'm saying that.
All right, then.
And I've got no proof. I've got as much proof as your fucking comment section.
I'll show you them later on.
Next one. Why are disabled toilets locked?
Keep all the riffraff out. We don't want any of those normies in our toilets.
Yeah, fucking normies.
They're always going around, smearing shit up the walls. We don't like that.
Yeah, not wiping properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, have you ever been waiting for a disabled toilet and then a non-disabled person comes out?
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of apologies from non-disabled people.
Do you know if you're with a carer, though? Normally, I'll let the carer go in after me or something.
Oh, yeah, I do as well. But it's always great. When we were at the darts, the queues to the men's was really long all the time, but the disabled toilet was on the way to it, and you'd wait there, and then there'd be people waiting, like guys waiting to use it, and I'd just rock up and just stand there with my cane, and then mysteriously walk off to the bar. So I'd go to the front of the queue, because guys would just piss off, and then usually you get a drunk guy come out, and they just look at you and go, sorry, and then walk away with head down. It's like, I don't care, mate.
Those toilets weren't locked. Also, do you know what? The disabled toilets being locked is pointless because you can buy a radar key from anywhere. This is just go on Amazon or something and get one.
Yep. It used to be like you used to have to jump through hoops to get a radar key. Like never used to give them out to any Tom, Dick, or Willie.
Not many of them left.
Fucking paraplegic people. Still cutting off willies. Next one. Why are disabled people called vegetables?
It's a good question.
I suppose it's just names of endearment, you know. What up, my carrot?
Fucking hell, really?
Parsnip, my man.
You gonna carry on with it, are you? Any more?
No. So I think it's just medical terms, vegetative state.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
I think that's what it's referring to.
It means they don't do a lot.
Yeah, but saying that, a lot of the fucking obese people in the world don't do a lot.
Well, that's why they're called couch potatoes.
That's true. Okay, why do disabled people discriminated against? There's a lot of horrible fuckers out there.
People don't like people that are different and things that they don't understand, so it's easy just to...
And if you're
trash
disabled, fight back. If you're not happy about how something's going, don't be discriminated against if you're disabled. You don't fight back, they get away with it. And the last one here, why are disabled workers paid less?
Ugh, that's a long question to answer.
Yeah.
Because we're desperate, basically. We need the jobs. People know that. And they think, oh, you can't do the job as well as a regular paid person. That's the assumption, therefore we'll pay you less.
Yeah, as we established in our employment episode, it's hard enough to get a job. And a lot of the time you'll put up with more shit than you should do as a disabled person just so you can keep that job. Shouldn't be the case, but it is. Needs to change. Also links into that discrimination question before. Yeah, we've covered some jovial topics here about poo. I don't want to get super deeps at the end here.
Yeah, there was a lot more dick slicing than I anticipated.
Dick slicing and bum wiping.
That's how we roll here on Seesaw Podcast.
That's what the Seesaw's all about, man. So there we go.
Yes.
Fuck you too. So there's an insight into the frequently Googled questions.
People are idiots.
People really are.
Right, on that then, let's kick out.
I think we should. I've got nothing else to say to you.
Too busy munching on them news.
Apparently so.
Till next week.
Till next week.
Bye.
Thank you, Cleaves.
Thanks for listening to the Seesaw Podcast.
You can find us on Facebook at Seesaw Podcast, Twitter, Seesaw Pod. You can email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on TikTok and Instagram at Seesaw Podcast or Seesaw Pod, depending on which one we want. But get us on the other places. This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience. Fucking Cleaves.